Anyways, Jim, what did you think of Good Guys Wear Black?
It sucked. I think I think between the two of us, we've made it pretty clear that it was slow and boring, and
it was slow and boring.
And Chuck Norris isn't a great action hero.
He's
Vin
a
Diesel
terrible
are the worst.
one. Yeah, he's a terrible one. Vin Diesel is at least, in some of the Fast and Furious movies, has at least been wise enough to attach himself with better action stars. Like The Rock is in some of those movies. Jason Statham's in some of them.
And then, he surrounds himself with, fast cars and fast-moving things. You
Sure.
know? Whereas Chuck Norris, it's just where's the action, Mr. Norris? I thought you were really cool based on the memes, and you're not.
Yeah. It's funny, because I knew all the Chuck Norris memes as a kid before I had ever seen a Chuck Norris anything. And it's just this is the guy? You couldn't have picked a more boring. I don't know. Listen, not everyone. I mean, because the late 70s, more so the 80s, but Chuck Norris was big in the 80s. But the 80s was the age of action heroes, right? Stallone at the peak of his powers. Kurt Russell, Escape from New York. Arnold, obviously the king of that era. But Harrison Ford was kicking ass in the 80s. And Chuck Norris is just the fucking most boring asshole to ever set foot on screen.
To ever kick a foot on screen.
Oh my god. And in another one, I mean, not really American movies at the time, but Jackie Chan was big in the 80s in Hong Kong.
Yeah, you almost wonder why people were making movies with Chuck Norris in them when all these other actors were out and about doing things.
Hang on, this gets back to the Wikipedia thing. So, why was this movie made? The movie was made because Chuck Norris wanted to make it. And Chuck Norris, not that he was a huge name in Hollywood at this time, but he had this script, and he's like, we need to make this movie, and I'm going to be in it. And he goes to a bunch of producers, and probably everyone's like, we don't know who you are, sir. You were in that Bruce Lee movie 6 years ago. Bruce Lee's dead now. Who are you? Why do we care? And then some producer is like, Chuck, why will this movie make money? And he said, first of all, there's 4 million karate people in America. First of all, that karate people is there's got to be a better term than that.
Yeah,
how about karateers?
Karateers, yeah, I like that.
Continuing the quote, they all know who I am, and if only half of them go to the movie, that's a $6 million gross on a $1 million budget. And then the producer's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
And I think it made $18 million or something, didn't it?
That's what I'm seeing on $1 million. And by the way, this movie doesn't so $1 million is obviously not a ton of money even back then. The movie doesn't feel like a low budget movie. It's just a movie that cut corners in the budget because they cast Chuck Norris, who was not a huge name at the time, and Dane Andrews on his last legs, and James Franciscus is whatever.
Yeah, it's a miss. This movie's just a miss. It's one of those things that should be relegated to the history of Chuck Norris movies.
I want to be as big in the movie industry as I've been in the karate industry, said Norris. I know I can do it because I've got the faith to do it.
Oh, was as in...
Norris said his character of Booker had more feeling than the Clint Eastwood characters. Booker's sensitive, caring about people, but if pushed, he can take care of the situation. Here's the thing. That might technically be true. You don't watch the Dollars trilogy because the character is this sensitive man. You watch him because he's the coolest motherfucker in the world. And Chuck Norris could never do that.
No, and I wonder if it is because he's too nice. He was trying to be like a good guy who's also cool.
Christian action hero, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah. Was that coming into his work? Is that why he's talking about faith, I guess?
That's kind of what I assume. I mean, but faith doesn't have to be religious. So, I've got the faith, I believe in myself, could be.
Well, okay. Let's move on from Chuck Norris to something that is equally...
Well, can I say what I think of the movie?
Oh sorry, yeah, continue.
Fucking asshole. No,
sorry, my apologies.
Listen, I don't think it's terrible, but it is dull. They get the worst lead actor possible, basically, and and that's the biggest thing against it. It's really just that jump kick into the windshield. That's like kind of all I enjoy. I don't know. I enjoyed some of the supporting actors. Dana Andrews, drunk out of his mind. James Franciscus gives a real performance. I liked that. Ann Archer's not bad. But Chuck Norris is the worst. Also, Jim Backus made the poster. What the hell? Also, hang on, Wikipedia, the first sentence. Good Guys Wear Black is a 1978 American martial arts action film starring Chuck Norris and directed by Ted Pose. Bullshit. There's 2 martial arts moves in the movie. Moves, not scenes, not fights.
Well, actually, you know what? There's 3. There's 3.
Excuse me.
There's 2 moves and a scene. And it's the kick off the dirt bike, the jump kick through the car, and then there's the scene where he fights like 3 guys outside of drunk guy's condo.
I don't know, man.